in 1986, my parents decided to create and establish the first privately owned Vietnamese language newspaper. The impact of this newspaper, Người Việt Tây Bắc, Northwest Vietnamese News, was just bringing together the Vietnamese business community. You might know that there are lots of Vietnamese nail salons. Vietnamese nail salons are, half of the nail salons in the US are actually owned by Vietnamese. And so a lot of our classified ads were looking for manicurists and setting up shops and selling shops. And there are all types of Vietnamese businesses that were advertising in the newspaper. I run a program called ION, and it's a cross-sector collaboration incubator. It brings together private sector, government, and community-based organizations. We're always trying to get ways for people to understand their own assumptions and see their own bias. We had 2 collaborators, that's what we call the fellows, interview the producers of the regional Miss Teen USA. And they said, we don't understand what this has to do with community at all. We don't understand what this has to do with ION. And afterwards, they said, wow, pageants are a tool of female empowerment. And this is an example of a small business owner, because before they thought that it was just a corporate entity. And what they also realized was they had a lot of bias going into that interview. The immigrant and refugee communities show a lot of optimism in the way that they set up their businesses. Now, sometimes people set up businesses because they can't transfer their professional degrees from their home countries to the US, and so they have to start again. For example, my parents met in law school. They were trained as lawyers, and when they came to the US, they couldn't practice law. So even though my dad went to work for an engineering firm, he realized that his community was calling, and that he would have a lot more freedom if he had his own business. And I think that there are a lot of immigrant and refugees that feel that way, that their opportunities are limited if they go work for someone else. Because there are so many immigrant and refugees in this area, I think that spirit of entrepreneurship and resilience carries through. My hope for the region is that we can be more connected to one another emotionally.